Hello, my name is Tony. Vampire Circus is latter stage early 70s Hammer. It did the rounds on a double bill with Countess Dracula, featuring the glorious Ingrid Pitt. Countess Dracula was a superior movie with superior features, mostly those possessed by Ingrid Pitt. Yet Circus is a distinct and intriguing curiosity that has enough to recommend it and make it stand out as something a bit different. Same with Countess Dracula, only Circus has a distinctly queasy, unsettling, otherworldly vibe, which is a source of some fascination. Well, for me. For others, I cannot speak. If you're up for a bit of a fairground foray into the world of the arcane and macabre, jump on board, pilgrim. In the remote Serbian village of Stettel in the early 19th century, Count Mitterhaus, Robert Taman, is busy fanging his way through the local child population. The kids are enticed to the castle by Anna Domini Blythe, adulterous wife of schoolmaster Muller Lawrence Payne, and concubine to the Count. The villagers, led by the mayor Peter Thorley Walters and local businessman Hauser Robin Hunter, have had a titful of this. It's villagers with pitchforks, torches and barrels of gunpowder time. They storm the castle, stake the evil Count, yes Count, and whip the crap out of Anna before burning and blowing up the castle. With his dying breath, Mitterhaus places a curse on the villagers, something along the lines of they will all die and their children will die so that he might live again. Yeah, same old, whatever. Anna manages to escape and drag the Count's staked carcass into the bowels of the castle. There he revives momentarily to instruct her to seek out his cousin Emile and the Circus of Night. Now why she just doesn't pull a stake out and be done with it, I have no idea, but then I guess if she did that, the result would be a different story, and an especially fucking short one. Fast forward 15 years. The village is in lockdown. Ooh, wonder what that's like. Stricken with plague, isolated and cut off by roadblocks and armed guards. There is much muttering about the Mitterhaus curse, but local quack Dr. Kirsch Richard Owens and his son Anton John Mulder Brown will have none of this superstitious drivel. Kirsch will bypass the barricades and travel to the capital to seek a scientific cure, whilst the townsfolk sit tight to await his triumphant return with the 19th century equivalent of the COVID vaccine. During his absence, the Circus of Night comes to town, somehow having found a route through the blockade. They are led by a mysterious dusky gypsy woman, Adrienne Corrie. The troupe consists of a tiger, a chimp, a black panther, dwarf clown Michael Skip Martin, strongman Dave Darth Vader Prose, twin aerial acrobats Helga and Heinrich, Lala Ward and Robin Sachs, and two erotic dancers. The panther is a shape-shifting vampire, Emile Anthony Corlin, and the Count's cousin. The twins are vampires and the children of the gypsy woman who was impregnated by the Count. Turns out the gypsy woman is Muller's wife Anna in some sort of supernatural disguise. The rest are human, minions of the vampires, thralls who do their bidding. So roll up, all the fun of the fang. Gasp as the Hall of Mirrors doubles as a portal to a world of horror and death. Thrill as Muller's daughter Cora Lynn Frederick, also one of Anna's kids, stupidly returns home from the city despite her village being horribly diseased. She's in love with Anton, you see, although God knows why that's any motivation, as he's wetter than a January day in Port Miriam. Wonder at the erotic dancing tiger chick, revealing a bit more than is usual. Shock at a cast whose acting makes Donald Wolfett look like a shrinking violet, rather than a huge pulsating ham hock. And marvel at the upswing in the bare breast and blood content on display. There's something about the killing of kids that's automatically upsetting, and hints at a warped sort of sadistic homicidal paedophilia. I don't think Hammer were in any way guilty of consciously promoting such things, but they do generate unease, I find. An adult dies in a fiction and it may be sad and distressing, but whacking children is a whole other emotional context. Must sell though, because Stephen King's killed more kids than a school trip to an outdoor activity centre. Fictionally, of course. Vampire Circus sets itself apart from the rest of Hammer's output in that it doesn't rely on the usual stock content to prop it up. There is no lead actor or actors, no Cushing or Lee. Rather, Thorley Walters as the mayor snags top billing, but he's as much a background character as everyone else is. Usual scriptwriters and directors are likewise absent. It's written by Judson Ginsburg, American producer of such films as the Kirk Douglas Van Gogh biopic Lust for Life and the screen version of John Fowles' The Collector. Director is first-timer Robert Young, who, unfamiliar with Hammer's tight budgetary policy and rapid shooting schedules, went 1 week over the allotted 6. Hammer shut down the production on the spot, dumped the available footage on editor Peter Musgrave, and literally said, "Make a film out of that, sonny," and the result is what we got. It's better than you might think or anticipate. There is an offbeat carnival atmosphere that adds a welcome sense of cheesy dread. The locals attend the performances nightly as a distraction from the plague slowly wiping them out. They are spellbound by what they consider to be tricks or illusions. The panther metamorphing into Emile, the twin acrobats seeming to defy gravity and turn into actual bats, when what they're really witnessing are the supernatural forces of the undead at play, forces that seek their destruction. When Dr. Kirsch returns from the city, he is a chastened man. The source of the plague is a form of rabies found in bats. He'd returned with an armed guard and a cure, but also news that several neighbouring villages have been laid waste. They all shared one common denominator. All were host to the Circus of Night, and as a result were decimated by vampirism. Suddenly, he believes in the undead. The claustrophobia of a lockdown scenario and having no means of escape are elements that succeed in generating an air of tension. After COVID, maybe nowadays we can empathise more readily. Spoilers now, just in case you want to skip ahead. It ends much as it began. Children are killed, the villagers have a titful again and snap to, storming the remains of the castle. The gypsy woman has a change of heart at the last moment as she restrains her daughter for Emile to deliver the killing bite. She thrusts Cora out of the way and takes one in the neck herself, proving once again that blood is thicker than water, and even a wanton, sex-driven devotee of evil and perversion retains those all-important maternal instincts. Anton wakes up for the finale and limp noodles into action, taking out Emile by ripping the stake from the chest of the preserved corpse of Count Mitterhaus and plunging it into Panther Boy instead. Mitterhaus, once the stake has been removed, rejuvenates, now what did I say earlier, and throws Anton about the place. Just as he is about to fang Cora, Anton finds a handy crossbow, which he uses as a makeshift cross to repel Mitterhaus, then jams the vampire's neck between the bow and the stock and pulls the trigger. Mitterhaus is decapitated. How's that for a heads up? The villagers chuck burning torches into the tomb with a sort of casual shrug of peace, a sober philosophical air of, well, that's that then, and burn everything to ash again. The survivors fuck off. Fab. Perhaps because it was written and directed by persons external to the established Hammer infrastructure, it thinks a little bit outside the coffin. There are notable elements of surrealism, eroticism, symbolism, the old draining the life from the young, and an increased sensationalism to some of the blood-spurting spectacle. The body count is higher than usual, and by the end, most of the principal players have been stabbed, strangled, shot, infected, fanged, staked, or burned. The visuals, studio-bound and location, compose a dreamlike impression, texturally like some waking nightmare with a hint of omnipotent threat lurking around every turn. If you can get past the loud, strident, overheated performances and clunking copper-bottom dialogue, then there's a lot of cheap and luridly cheerful penny dreadful fun to be had. Despite being rooted in a fast-stagnating past, Hammer were at least trying to change things up a bit. Sure, in the wake of Texas Chainsaw and The Exorcist, it would never be enough, but at least they tried. Gotta give them points for that. If you want to see a film where a giant crucifix impales a pre-Doctor Who Lala Ward, a pre-Star Wars Dave Prowse gets his lungs blasted out of his back, a pre-Peter Sellers Lynn Frederick looks lovely and impossibly young, and a naked woman painted in greenish tiger stripes flashes her snatch in your face, this is just the ticket. Bet at least one of those options sold it to you, right? Thank you kindly for your time and attention. Feel free to do whatever you choose to do next. Hit like, don't like, comment, subscribe, check out my early access Patreon thing, or even make a welcome financial contribution via the thanks button. I'm pretty sure I'll be back in the saddle soon, minus the horse, and this channel will continue apace. Until then, make Azerbaijan great again, pilgrims, or something.